Okay, class, we are now continuing with solving linear equations. This is now part 3. So let's go ahead and jump into an example. So the first example is 2 times the quantity x plus 2 is equal to 10. Okay, now there are a couple ways of doing this, but I'm going to show you the simple way. Consider this quantity, x plus 2, as an entity, okay? And this number 2 outside of this entity, we're going to consider that as a coefficient, okay? So if you remember, if you have a coefficient, we're going to, in order to move this 2 over to the other side of the equation, we're going to need to multiply it by the reciprocal, okay? So the reciprocal 2 is 1/2. And whatever we do to that side of the equation, we need to do the same to the other side. Okay? And when we do that, these cancel out. That becomes 1. And now we're just left with x plus 2 is equal to, and 10 times 1/2 is equal to 5. Okay? So we did 2 different computations. Normally I would write it out separately, but since we've done this a few times, you should be able to see that this cancels out and that we multiplied these out to get us 5. Okay. Then what we need to do is move this 2 over to the other side. This is a positive 2, so what we need to do is subtract this side by 2 to get rid of it, and then whatever we do on the left side, we have to do the same thing on the right. Okay. So then what we're left with, x, and then these cancel out, is equal to 5 minus 2. Okay? And then solving for the right side of the equation, we find that x is equal to 3. Okay, let's move on to example 2. Okay, so in this example, we've got a lengthy equation. We've got 3 times the quantity x minus 2 plus 4x is equal to negative 3x plus 4. So this is going to put together everything you've learned up to this point, and we're gonna solve this problem by applying those skills. Okay, so what we're going to do here is multiply 3 by x minus 2. Okay. A little bit different than what we did in example 1, where we got rid of the coefficient. In this case, we're not going to be able to do that because we have 4x over here. Okay, so the way to solve this problem is we're going to use the distributive property, where we multiply 3 by x and then we subtract 3 by 2. Okay, so what we're doing here is multiplying this multiplying this first. Okay, so that's number 1. And then we're going to multiply this second. That's number 2. Okay. So what we get is 3x minus 3 times 2. Okay. I'm going to pause there for a couple seconds so you could see what's going on. 3x, or 3 times x, so 3 times the first term inside the parentheses, which is what this is, and then we're going to take 3 again and we're going to multiply the second term, which is a negative 2. Okay, so we're going to subtract 3 times 2, and then we're going to write the rest of it out. Plus 4x is equal to minus 3x plus 4. Okay, so let's multiply this out right here. And we're going to get 3, we're going to write everything else out the same. 3x minus, and 3 times 2 is 6, plus 4x is equal to minus 3x plus 4. Okay, so now it's looking a little cleaner. The next thing to do is we're going to combine like terms. Okay, and the like terms on the left side of the equation, this is where we're going to focus on, is we have a 3x and a positive 4x. So 3x plus 4x gives us 7x. And I'm going to write out the rest of the equation. Minus 6 is equal to negative 3x plus 4. Okay, so then what we need to do is move this negative 3x over to this side of the equation. Okay, well, how do we do that? We have a negative 3x, so what we're going to do is add 3x to both sides. Okay, and by doing that we get 7x minus 6 plus 3x is equal to 4, right? Because these cancel out. Negative 3x plus 3x is 0. Okay. Now we're going to combine like terms again. We have 7x and a positive 3x, and by combining those we're going to get 10x. I'm going to write everything else. Minus 6 is equal to 4. Okay, so now we're going to move this minus 6 to this side of the equation. This is a negative 6, not a positive 6. So to do that, we need to add 6 to both sides. And now we get 10x. These cancel out, and we get 4 plus 6, which is 10. Okay? And then one last step. We have this 10x. 10 is the coefficient of the x. We want to isolate the x, so we need to make this number 1, right? We want the coefficient to be 1, and to do that we multiply by the reciprocal of 10, which is 1 over 10. We do that to both sides, and what happens is these cancel out, and we're left with just x is equal to, and 10 times 1 over 10 is equal to 1. And that is our final answer. Okay, I hope that made sense to you. As usual, if you are still confused or not completely clear, go back to the beginning of this recording and watch the entire thing again. Thank you.